A Quiet Place is coming to Universal's Halloween Horror Nights this year, and today we will break down the announcement and I will give my opinion on what I think about this property coming to the event, as well as breaking down the premium Scream Night offering that they just announced. But before we get into anything, please make sure you're subscribed and have the bell notifications turned on to get notified whenever I post a video, and also make sure you're following both Instagram and Twitter. The links are down in the description below. But now, let's take a look at this announcement video.
Warning, unusual audio-visual activity in your area.
If they hear you, they hunt you. A Quiet Place. Only at Universal Halloween Horror Nights, where horror lives.
So like I said, A Quiet Place is coming to HHN this year, and to be honest, as a person who was not really excited when this was first being speculated, now that we kind of have this little trailer to talk about it, I am a bit intrigued. Now, we also were given a little bit more information from Universal in their blog for media personnel, so let's break that down a little bit here, and I'll tell you guys all the information that was provided in that. Guests will need to silence their screams when they enter the post-apocalyptic world of Paramount Pictures' blockbuster movies, A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2, in an all-new, chilling haunted house at Universal Studios' Halloween Horror Nights. Mirroring the silence in the films, the haunted houses will embrace unique sound design, special effects, and the adept performances of the scare actors to convey the ominous sense of dread depicted in the films. Consequential to the storyline, Halloween Horror Nights will incorporate the use of American Sign Language for the first time ever within the A Quiet Place haunted houses to capture the authenticity of the films. Fans will relive the tension that will come to life in the iconic scenes from the first two films, including traveling through the farmhouse that serves as the Abbott family shelter and stepping into the root cellar where Evelyn Abbott escapes to give birth as one of the creatures closes in. The snarls of the larger-than-life predators will follow guests at every spine-chilling turn, and guests must remember, if they hear you, they will hunt you. So there was some very interesting information provided in that little snippet from the blog post, which I will link that down below if you guys want to take a closer look. But there were two things in particular that I wanted to kind of dive a little bit deeper in. The first being the fact that we're getting A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2 in one house, especially with this being kind of a hype for the movie that comes out later in this month, in June. So kind of this being a way to market that a movie coming out and get people to watch that definitely has me interested. I definitely need to watch both these movies, as I have not yet, but definitely interesting that they're going to be including both movies, as there might have not been enough in one or the other to kind of make one house as itself, so they kind of had to include both to get a full story. But like I said, does have me intrigued as to how they're going to connect everything, whether it be a two-parter or they're going to seamlessly transition. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out. But another thing that I was interested in and did find interesting in this little snippet that we got was that they are going to be using ASL in the house. Now, I thought about this a little bit, and I was like, okay, how would that work within the house? And the main thing that I thought about was, what if we got interactions with scare actors that weren't actually like, boo, pop out and scare you type of things, where it was rather scare actors kind of sneakily coming out and trying to, you know, sign language to you quietly to keep you from making noise and attracting the creatures. Maybe they're trying to warn you of the dangers that lead ahead. Now, I found that as possibly being a very interesting technique and a very interesting way for us to kind of really get the feeling that we are in the movie. So that would be very interesting to see if they go that route with the incorporation of ASL in this house. Now, another thing that I was very interested to see is how much of this house is actually going to be quiet. Now, that is a big part of this movie, so I'm interested to see how much are we actually going to get noise in this house. I know there's probably going to be a lot of ambient noise, but as far as actual like pop-out scares, other than them being the creatures, how much of those are we actually going to get? Now, speaking of the creatures, are we going to get stilt scare actors for those, or are they going to be more puppets? My bet is on the puppets. But now that we've kind of talked about this and talked about my opinions and what I found interesting, let's talk about the announcement video and break this down a little bit. So the announcement video starts with a warning message followed by a few random symbols, which from last year we know these symbols may have a deeper meaning, as last year they were relating to a kind of a secret alphabet that we were able to decode that related the announcements to, of course, Dr. Oddfellow. The next thing that we see is a few clips from the teaser video we got a couple weeks ago and our first full look at the very odd Universal arch monster that they have made for this year. Next we see two characters who at this point we have no names for, but one does have a cochlear implant, which is common in some deaf people as it allows them to hear. This is a very major plot point, a nice thing that they did include to kind of give us the feeling of the silence portion of this house and this announcement. Next thing we know, the power is out and people are panicking outside, and then we get our first usage of sign language in this video. Then, as our male character decides to go investigate, we get our first audio of the creatures from the movie. And a few seconds later, naturally, our male character accidentally makes some noise, which then alarms the creature, and we get a nice reflection shot of the creature lunging at him, thus making this character's life very short-lived. Now, as far as we know, this girl is still alive. This other character in this video is still alive. Now, the possibilities of her being included in future announcements is kind of up in the air at this point, as you know, they have done this in the past where they kind of linked together all of the announcements. I know the past couple years they have done that, and I did like the kind of storytelling that built off of that. So will we get this character returning, or is she just going to be a one-off character? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they'll go a different route this year, who knows. But I will say, from this announcement video and from the little snippet that we got from the blog, I am now more excited than I was to begin with when this was first being speculated. So we'll have to see how this plays out, but it could be a very interesting house and a very interesting challenge that they have presented themselves with for this year's event. Now that we're done talking about the announcement video, let's talk about Premium Scream Night. So for those who don't know, Premium Scream Night is a new thing they're doing this year, and it is a separately ticketed premium event before Halloween Horror Nights happens. So this is a one-night only limited ticketed event that is going to be the night before Halloween Horror Nights opens for this season. Now, the main selling point in this is the fact that you will get into all 10 houses, all 5 scare zones, and the live entertainment that is going to be at this year's event before anyone else. And with this being a limited ticketed event, the lines are going to be shorter. They are going to be doing pulsing through the houses, which means that they're going to be doing group by group and sending them through in little waves rather than the conga line that we all have come to know at this point with Halloween Horror Nights. And as well, you get included parking as well as a selection of food and non-alcoholic beverages that are going to be included that you can just grab throughout the night. Now, you may be thinking, oh, that's a great deal, but it comes with a very steep price tag at $350 for normal guests and $320 for annual pass holders. And that is before tax. So like I said, pretty steep price tag for this. And as a person who is planning on getting a frequent fear pass this year, it doesn't really make sense for me to purchase this. I would love to go a night early, but for the price tag, it's not really worth it for me, especially since I'll be going multiple times throughout the event, and it just doesn't really seem worth it for me. Now, as a person who is going maybe once or twice, I could see the value in it as you add up a single night ticket, possibly having express, the food that you're already going to spend there, as well as it being including parking. The price does add up, so it could be worth it as a person who goes maybe once or twice, but they might have to be a really big fan of the event to really care about going to Halloween Horror Nights in September. And most of those people who are those big fans are probably going to get a frequent fear pass. So I'm just having a hard time kind of pinpointing what the exact demographic and what the exact kind of people that they were looking for when creating this event. I mean, personally, like I said, for me, too rich for my blood, not really worth it, especially like I said, since I'm going more than once. So that's probably the main reason why this event is still available for you to purchase tickets now. So if you guys are interested in purchasing tickets, you can go to the Universal website and do that. But like I said, for me, it's not really worth it for me. But that is going to wrap up our video here. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure you drop a like and also comment down below, out of both the announcement and premium Scream Night, which one are you more excited for, and kind of give me your opinions on both. I'd love to know down in the comments below. But as always, I'm Michael from Hallowed Thrills, giving you the all clear, and all clear means you're out of here. See you guys next time.